You're watching Infra under Modi, The Real Deal, and we're evaluating the performance of India's real estate sector in the last 5 years. I would say 4.5 years. But let me toss this question to Anuj Puri. Anuj, we spoke about affordable housing. In fact, you said that that's been the dramatic shift in the last 4.5 years. But really, if I look at what's happening, the house sizes are shrinking as per your own report to keep them affordable. Are developers being able to participate in a very meaningful way in that category of under 40 lakh homes at all?
So Manisha, to begin with, that is where the demand is. I mean, if the developers really don't want to partner there or don't want to deliver that product, I mean, they're going to be soon out of business. So clearly that is where the demand is. That is where the government fiscal and financial incentives are being given. That's where you will see the NBFCs, the private equity, the home loan companies like, Ashwin's really focusing and wanting that to deliver. So I think there is really no choice. Because if your customer is wanting that, if the authorities are focusing on that, and if the various other stakeholders who are going to bring in the liquidity into this sector are wanting that segment, clearly as a developer, you will have to consider that. And many of the big groups, whether it is Godrej or Mahindra or Tata, everyone has really started to go into that affordable housing. They have, in many cases, divided the organizations into two. One is on the value side and one is on the mid-level side. And you're seeing the focus that they're bringing on to the value side is huge.
Okay. Gitambar, is it an easy business to do? I mean, tier 2, tier 3 cities I can understand, but we still have such a big gap when it comes to large cities like Mumbai and Delhi.
So I'll tell you, see, the definition of affordable is grossly misunderstood. Affordable
it's become the most abused buzzword like
absolutely.
Luxury.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So, the ethos of an Indian home buyer is that the family wants to stay in one location for at least 10 years so that the children go to a particular school and pass out of that school. So they need a 3 or 2.5 bedroom house because each child grows up and needs a space. A smaller size apartment, like you just said, may not necessarily be attractive to the home buyer. And a 45 lakh rupee, who decides this 45 lakh rupee? If you remember, there was an RBI circular to raise bonds that described in metros the budget as 65 lakh rupees. Recall that? So this putting a ceiling to that number is something which the industry doesn't agree with. It's a very debatable number.
But you're saying that you have the capacity to produce homes
absolutely
depending on the demand. I mean, where the demand is,
the demand is for 2 bedrooms and 2.5 bedrooms.
Okay.
If you say you shrink the size to make it affordable and people will lap it up, I'm sorry to say that's not happening.
All right. So let me come to my next question. That's another big debatable point on what affordable is. That's not today. Let me ask you, Srinivasan Gopalan, everyone's now talking about stability in the government. We don't want any big shocks. You, in fact, said that. What do you mean by stability? I mean, will a coalition government work for you? Or do you think that if there's a flip in government, does that work for the industry? Or do you want the same people in power?
I think, at this stage, as I said, as I said earlier as well, a status quo is what we all want. We all want to perform. We all want to deliver. So a reputation of the government would be great for this industry. And this government has done a lot of things for the industry, a lot of reforms. And this is the time for us to start reaping the benefits of those reforms.
Okay.
And if there is a change in the government or if it's an unstable government, we do not want any of these reforms to actually again be tweaked. So I think a continuity of the same government will be a great boon for this industry.
Okay. Continuity of the same government will be a great boon. Unstable government, what happens then?
Well, we have to re-engineer the whole business strategy then because there'll be new policy, there could be changes. But I just want to take forward what Srini was saying. More than the government, now the responsibility, he made this valid point about misuse of regulation and blackmail. More than the government, it is now it's on the executive or the judiciary to make sure that new policy, new changes, new laws are not misused by any stakeholder, be it the customer, developer, a financial institution, urban local body. When new law comes in, it is misinterpreted or interpreted in 50 ways by 50 people. And then
therein lies the trouble. Okay, let me get Ashwini's final comment. Ashwini, what are you hoping for?
I think India is set for a structural growth. I don't think so. It's a government-dependent idea. With 8 20 crore people below 35 years of age and more people coming into 25 to 35 year of age group, and urbanization. Every sixth urbanizer in the world is an Indian. Nuclearization of family. All these are structural things which for many decades will ensure that more and more people buy this 40 lakh rupee house within 2 years of joining workforce. So it is structural in nature. The demand will stay. Government policies largely have been put in place. So we will reap the benefit of that over, as Anuj said, over 5 to 10 years. So I think we are set. I don't think so government really will have a much more impact than the industry.
That's
structurally, the demand will prevail.
That's good to know that India's structural story remains very robust for India's residential real estate, and of course commercial and office has been doing very well. Gentlemen, Srinivasan Gopalan, Ashwini Kumar Huda, Anuj Puri and Gitambar Anand, thank you very much for joining me today on this discussion. Well, next week we dig deeper into the foreign direct investments into India's real estate under the Modi government compared to UPA 2. It has been double that number, $30 billion US. Where did that money go? What did it accomplish? That's on the next show next week. Goodbye.